Please rise to the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of Texas, the symbol of friendships among the United cultures. You may be seated.
Madam President, members of the board, we have some visitors with us tonight. Looking around the room, and my seat is Casey Otero, our brand new elected board member. So welcome, Casey, and it's gonna be fun having you here.
Thank you.
Stephanie Tejas, our other elected, Stephanie Tejas, our other board member, has strep throat, so she couldn't make it with us tonight. We have Andrew Perea in the corner back there, our head baseball coach and father of a few of our kids, and we have Miss Devon here.
I'm just here.
I've known Devon a long time, so, and we also have Officer Robles with us. So welcome, thank you for coming. And then I think the rest of us is all Wildcats, the rest of the here, so we're all Wildcats, but staff.
Alright, first we have public comment. You have any public comment?
Give me a couple weeks. Yes, sir, but please do.
Raul Robles, under sheriff for the Federal County Sheriff's Office. I just wanted to say that, first of all, thank you for allowing the Sheriff's Office to have the DARE program at the school. Tomorrow we'll have our graduation. This, 1:30. So, but again, just want to thank everybody, thank you, but to Rosa Schools for allowing us to have the program here. So that's why I'm here, just to thank you for everything, for your support.
Sure. Well, we really appreciate you being at our school with us.
Yes.
The next one?
Right. Yeah.
Let's set it up.
Yeah, we could try, I mean, it's allowing the manpower, because we have 5 schools, soon to have 6 schools. We want to have the elementary program, and then we want to do at least 7th grade, and then 9th or 10th grade high school. So we're trying to do something, it's just a manpower, we're hosting a class in December to add 2 more instructors. So we'll probably have about 11 instructors, including myself. But like I said, it's just, they're all spread out through the county, so if we could schedule it, I mean, we could do some more stuff with the different program, so. And we'll talk about vaping, opioids, just everything, so. It's evolved a lot, so, but thank you again for your support.
Thank you very much. And please tell all your officers that, anytime they want to come by the schools and just walk through our buildings, we love having you guys on our campuses, so you're always welcome.
All right, thank you.
Any more public comments? Alright. Next we have the principal's reports. Ms. Vaughn. Start with pre-K.
She's hiding behind that. Just trying to get out of it.
Good evening. Preschool is going great. We still have 50 students, so our enrollment is still running strong. We're deep in letter recognition, sound awareness in the classroom, comprehension, all of those good literacy rich activities. We're gonna have our second literacy focused family engagement on Monday. The mini grant that we were awarded by Just Right Reader, they will be coming and doing a presentation and teaching the families how to use the books that they will go home with. So that's gonna be fun. We want to have 2 more literacy specific family engagements for the year with families. They're monthly themed family engagement activities are going on in each classroom. There's a lot of collaboration. They're integrating math and the executive function activities in each of the classrooms to support full child development. And everything's going good.
Great, thank you. Ms. Grace.
Okay, I wanted to take a moment to brag on the staff a little bit. This staff has been, the school has been elected or awarded the third year in a row as spotlight school. And I can't take credit for that. That was under the previous principal of Ms. Lochner, but also I think our staff really needs to be recognized for that. This is a very hard working staff. I've been in a lot of staffs. I've worked with a lot of great people. They're right up there in the top. One thing that I'm really impressed with them is, you know, we had a really rough start this year with kinder. We had a few, and you know, everybody jumped in right on board to say, how can we help and what can we do to get these kids ready and go into kinder now as compared to what it was getting in the year, you know, even if it's the same school. They don't complain, they just jump in and work hard for kids every single day, and that's from the custodians on up to the teachers, aides, everything. So I think they really need to be recognized and they are doing a spectacular job. Spectacular.
Ms. Trace, can I ask you any suggestions on how you think we should do that? Cause I think we all agree that recognition is the way to do. Any ideas on what we could do for them?
You know, I've noticed and working as a previous teacher, I think coming in and just saying that to them is a good thing. You know, oftentimes we notice the things we don't do, we don't often notice the things that we do. When you come on in and just say, hey, congratulations, good job, we see what you're doing, walk through the school, give them a pat on the back and just tell them that goes a long way. It really does for the staff, because I think sometimes, you know, you feel like you're not noticed, you know, until something like this comes around and you say, hey, there really are hardworking that are doing it for the kids. So I just think going in and saying that to them would mean a lot to them. So I would also like to say congratulations to Dahlia Bigrove and Curtis Eagle Claw Johnson for being crowned our new TPS Princess of Brave. I was so proud of them this morning. The kindergarten was up there speaking in front of 200 people, singing in front of 200 people. Amazing, amazing job. Also, our Thanksgiving lunch is next Thursday, so we welcome parents and families to come on and eat with their kiddos. We're going to be drawing on that day too for our fundraiser baskets. We have 3 fundraiser baskets. One's bake the season bright, one's cozy nights in, and the other's rocking out the campfire. So we'll be doing that. We also just put out a flyer for our winter wonderland. That will be Thursday, December 11th. And so we welcome you all to be part of that. We've gotten plenty and a lot of donations from our community, a lot of support for that. And so welcome you all. It's just a night of free fun for kids and families. It doesn't cost anybody anything. So we welcome you to come out. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Trace.
Mr. O'Brien?
So I have to echo, what you said at the intermediate school. I wasn't here at the last board meeting. And while I was gone, we had a very successful STEAM night, that's science. And I don't have to be around for the teachers and the students to perform. So we had like 280 parents, I think, not to mention all the kids, so it was very successful. We want to get parents in the building anytime we can. We want you all to be in the building, like some of you were today. That was noticed, very good, thank you. So what else did we do? List of the sheet, echoed it very well. We had a successful, I believe we had the library going at that time, I forget, we made like $4,000, $500 or something crazy, and read on books. So people performing, and where the proof is in the pudding, as I feel, on major observations in the fall, the kids are performing for the teachers, they know what they're doing. And they get in and they really show up. And so I would like to invite you, or maybe going out on a limb here, come in sometime, see some of our teachers teach. I don't know if any of you have been to Ron Clark Academy, but my first thought when I got there is, man, it'd be great if there was one for boys to see what that's all about. We have a couple of teachers, Miss Young in particular, I haven't seen anybody teach. I thought I was the Ron Clark Academy. The kids thinking for themselves, they're earning house points, they clap and reach out, it's genuine. And so it just, every time I think we're at the limit, they perform one notch better. So our staff is learning a lot. badly performing and again, the proof is in playing with our kids and the things that they do. We have, I think, a 92.7 student, attendance rate, which is 3%, a little over 3% higher than last year. But that may not sound like a lot, when you start multiplying all the days where you calculate, absences, students per day, times students, we're really good. Well, 3% is a lot. And so, I challenge my staff, let's go 2 more points higher, which is kind of crazy. But that's quote unquote, to be an outstanding school, we've got to have 95%, not just of the students, but I challenge my staff for their attendance. We had some deaths and things that we couldn't help this challenge and when we look at the data, you can see the kids are in school, learn more. It's just, that's your best step. Teachers take advantage of it. And then I also want to echo, today's pageant. We had 2 of them at our school, first the elementary and then the intermediate. And Kelly King Morgan deserves a pat on the back. Well, they put that together, her kids. Some people came, I think, to read also, I know Miss Valero. It was just great. They were great with their kids. Anyway, it went the way I wanted it to, which was, done before, so there wasn't a whole, it's very little participation. But I knew once, I've seen it in Reno, so when I was there, I knew once they saw it, there's kids who, oh, okay, I want some of that. I guess it was, is that kids who want to be leaders. They said, oh, they know what leadership is. Okay, now they know what that is, so next year, I have to do it, it's good. It's gonna be, well, let's just say, so, thank you for the opportunity, love my staff, love my campus. Let's keep it that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Alvarez?
Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Lindsay, my update for this month. So currently here at the middle school, we are finishing up our middle of year testing. Language arts should be finishing up this week. Next week will be math. We're using that data for beginning of year and middle of year testing to identify students to see what additional support we could provide for them for intervention. Recently, we just got a platform, Freckle, with language arts. We have it in math, but now we have it in language arts as well. So with language arts, that helps give the student or students the opportunity for them to work at their grade level, or if they're above grade level, that's going to give them some more help there in that capacity too. Our school-wide intervention plan will roll out in January. I really want to give a special shout out to our math and ELA teams. They're putting a lot of effort after school, just putting in that time to make sure that we're really focused on that intervention support. Student activities and events. Basketball season is in full swing. Their first game is on Monday. Boys are here, girls are out of town. Our Veterans Day celebration was a huge success. We honored veterans from, of course, from the community, but also within our building as well. We had 3 teachers and we gave them a special shout out from our school. So that was real nice. Shout out to Miss Hill. She created a beautiful Veterans Memorial hallway. She got pictures from members of the community, teachers, even family members from the students. She just placed them in a hallway. So it's like, man, it's pretty special. Tomorrow we do have our Native American pageant as well. Gives us an opportunity also to follow up, but I hear it's pretty tough to come back to follow. There's pretty special things that happen over there, but we'll see how it goes. We now have a fully functional weight room. It's available for both students and staff. So a huge shout out to Phil and Sal, our custodians. They set that all up for us. So really, really special shout out to them. So we eventually want to offer that as an elective in the future. So we're working on that. Miss Malteri's media class, they're preparing for a film. I'm gonna say this wrong, Film Prize Junior New Mexico competition. That's in March. But right now, the students currently have to hit benchmarks like monthly to make sure that they're eligible to participate in March. So it's like a film showcase for them. Our history club led by Mr. Sorden will be traveling to El Paso next week. They'll visit the El Paso Museum and tour downtown. They've been doing a lot of research on the Mexican Revolution. It's pretty cool. They're gonna stop at some historic sites and even see where Pancho Villa ate ice cream and sip on like, strawberry soda is what I was told, so it's pretty cool looking into that. On November 21st, middle school will host, and I think this is the first time, I could be wrong, that we actually host the District 6 Middle School Leadership Development events, with around a dozen or so of our ag students that are gonna participate in that. It's actually gonna be at the high school on the 21st, but, yeah, Ms. Day has been doing a great job just preparing the students for that. Her class also visits the elementary school and assists with the hydroponics and also the raised garden beds. And right now her woodshop class is actually beginning their Christmas crafts as well. So that's starting up, January 6th. The Army National Guard is gonna come in, it's gonna help us out with some bait prevention. So we're gonna have the sixth graders come in, they're gonna get that bait prevention class, seventh graders and eighth graders, just to see if we could help curb that trend in bait prevention. Now that things are slowing down a little bit, you know, so starting January, we'll have our first, I wish we'd done it earlier, but we'll have our first student of the month, right? So we'll have it now monthly. We're gonna recognize sixth, seventh, and an eighth grader every month from starting in January. We're also gonna begin hosting, this is actually next month, December 4th. We're gonna have monthly reward activities for our students. Those that demonstrate good grades, good attendance, and then also strong behavior as well. So they'll get an opportunity to participate in that. I think right now we're connecting with the food truck to come on in, and you know, so we're trying to, you know, reward them for those three areas: grades, attendance, and behavior. There's a lot of positive momentum occurring there at our school, from academics, extracurricular activities, and including instruction. I have to really give credit to our staff and students. You know, thanks to them, we really see that steady progress across the board. Of course, we have areas where we need to improve, and we'll continue to improve from there. But the second half of the year, I really feel like we're creating that culture that's safe, supportive, and collaborative for our learning community. So with that, if I have any questions, I think that's all. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So the high school, Julia today took some students to national convention at the end of October, and while they were there, they competed in senior quiz and took 13th out of over 100 teams at nationals for senior quiz. Last Friday, Mr. Montes took a group of students to Tucumcari for their weld-off, so they're starting that series, and they placed first. And so at these weld-offs, like, kids can win like welding helmets and welding supplies, and so our kids came home with all kinds of stuff. It was super neat. We also took 5 students to UTEP Blue and Orange Day with Trio. And so this was only offered to our Trio students, but in the future, I would love to offer this to all of our juniors and seniors because, of course, I'm an Aggie girl, but UTEP totally sold me on this day. Like, they went out of their way. It was just such a memorable experience, and what they were offering, so I was like picking up all kinds of information, but just super neat experience for these 5 students. This week we are in Rock Your Mocks, and our Kelly King Morgan and Ashley Blaylock and Lindsay Castano planned this whole week of different things for our kids. So when we're giving out shout outs to Kelly and Ashley and Lindsay, like, they have truly killed it. Like, the planning that they've done and the work that they put in. Yesterday, for Veterans Day, our Veterans Day committee just blew it out of the water with the assembly that they had at the high school. I pretty much cried the whole time, and then they played taps at the end, and I cried some more. But then Ashley and Kelly made pozole and fry bread for all of our visitors, all of our veterans, and then turned around and held 2 pageants at the lower schools, and then tomorrow are holding the pageants for the middle school and the high school. So tomorrow's pageant for the high school will be at 1 p.m. and we moved it to the gym. Mrs. Eldridge, our art teacher, is taking a group of students to Niawak for their field trip tomorrow.
And then Friday, Mr. Montes' FFA is holding our weld off that, we sponsor in the high school parking lot. So if you guys are in town, it's a really cool thing to go see the bunch of schools set up. And then we have to develop a project, not me, I don't know anything about that, Mr. Montes develops a project. And like, we set them up with all the materials and then they, like, students have to do all of the work. And, shout out to Tasted Truly because like, he's coming in and cooking for the kids too. Miss Blondell, with HOSA, they are going to regionals on Saturday. That will be in Las Cruces. That's our physical health pathway. All the students have to compete at regionals to qualify for state competition in the spring. And she is pretty certain that she's gonna have a few students that will be even, that will compete so well that they'll make it to nationals in the summertime. This week we found out, the V Pro Be Proud truck that came to us last year, reached out to us again, and they will be coming back to us in February. Basketball for the high school officially starts on Monday. November in the state of New Mexico is considered a free fee month for our seniors to apply at New Mexico colleges. So we're really pushing this because they don't have to pay for any of those fees. So right now, like, we have multiple seniors that told me today that they're at pretty much like 20 applications for, so college is big with this group. Very nice. We also got the okay to continue our community scholarship with the community donors. So that's coming with, works with some lawyers. And I just have to say, next week we're doing our scheduling for the spring semester. This is our first year of doing the block schedule at the high school. And so at first we were getting going and the kids were kind of just like, oh, but now that they're seeing that it's coming to a close, they're like, and they're getting 4 new classes. We're getting a lot of praises on it as well. And then I just have to throw out praises for the staff because 5 years at the high school doing walkthroughs, Chance and I are just seeing amazing things when we're going into these classrooms. So 95 minutes seems like a lot, but those teachers are go, 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 and the students are so engaged. And the cell phones being not a problem is just been fantastic this year. So it'll be really interesting to see how students develop their schedules next week and then see how this week rolls. You guys have any questions for me?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Special ed report.
Yeah, so we're busy, right? We stay busy. We have had more ancillary staff join our team this year because we always, contract with Region 9. So we've hired our own and it's been great. Last year, we met several times throughout the year, just talking about how we can restructure things. And so we put some of those into play and have made adjustments where necessary, but I think it's going phenomenal. We have a special education teacher lead at each campus, and so we're meeting weekly. They're kind of heading all of the IEPs, facilitating all the meetings, and so that's working really well. It's one point of contact. I meet with them weekly. That's going great. I also Monday attended a special education director's leadership. I don't know, it's like a fellowship for like new special ed directors, put on by NMPED. So I had my first session Monday and I went and I loved it. I got to network with a lot of people, and I thought it was going to be a lot of people like me who didn't have a lot of experience in my new role, but there were a lot of experienced colleagues who I got to talk to and network and connect with. So had some really good, meaningful conversations. It'll be a year long, and I already have a lot of good projects and ideas that I want to, put out there. So it's a work in progress, but we're doing great, staying busy. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah.
Now the superintendent report on it.
Let's talk about new middle school first. We've got our bids in today. They closed at 2 o'clock today. We had 3 companies show up to bid. We had our pre-bid meeting was it last week, and we had about 10 companies show up for the pre-bid. Anyway, 3 companies, but it's Bradbury, Slam, HB, and James Deputy. So 3 really big good confidence. Put in our bid. Tomorrow is the scoring. Hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, we'll know who's gonna win, but then we'll come back for interviews. Next Wednesday, and then we'll have to have a special board meeting for you all to approve and vote on who our contractor is. After we get our contractor in place, we have a few steps left. We have to write a letter and get on the agenda for the BSCOC to get our waiver. And we should be breaking ground in February if it all holds still. So we're moving along. It's really great to have a construction management company helping us this time too. Another project, Mr. Sines and myself and a few of us been working on is the field house. We thought we could simply just go in there and remodel and fix and. So we've had contractors show up twice. Andy, is that right? Maybe even 3 times. And ended up, they all decided we needed an architect because we have no plans for the building and it's a metal building. And then they put a front on it. It has the gutter, rain gutter is behind what the brick part in the front of the building. So it's a bigger mess than we thought. So next Wednesday at 11, we have an electrician coming out to do an as-built, and we have to do another as-built. And so it's gonna be a to-do to figure out all the things we have to do to build it, so. It's either that or tear it down and start.
We may have to look at both.
And we'll see what the price.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But again, that'll come back to the board. Tom, we did get some money the other day, $535,000 for
Capital outlay.
capital outlay stuff, so we do have the money to do some of the remodeling, fixing. I don't know what a new building costs, but if it's a school building, it's a lot.
Yes.
In my position, since I'll be leaving, I need to assign a new CPO, and we do have somebody qualified with Arista in our business office. So I'll be, at the next board meeting, I'll be bringing that up for your approval to make Arista the chief procurement officer.
Yes, sir.
And I believe that is it for me, unless you can think of anything I'm forgetting. Anybody? Amanda always straightens me out. I always forget something, so. No, we're good. Okay, that'll fit down.
Well, what he was just talking about, I think it's already actually on down at the bottom, so we can hold off on anything I had to say until that point.
Business, the first item on the agenda is the consideration of the agenda.
Yes, sir, Madam President, members of the board recommend approval of the consideration of the agenda.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second that we approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye, those opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving on to consideration of minutes from the previous meetings, regular meeting October 8th, 2025, special meeting with executive session on October 22nd, 2025.
So, Madam President, members of the board recommend approval of the minutes of the October 8th, 2025 regular meeting, October 22nd, 2025 special meeting with the executive session.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the previous meetings. All those in favor say aye, those opposed no. Motion carries. Next, we have consideration of the check register for October 2025.
Yes, sir, Madam President, members of the board recommend approval of the check register for October 2025. And we do have Mr. Bregler present. If you have any questions, and he can bring it up on the screen.
Guess what? I have a question.
No.
It's a bona fide, yeah, well, page, I believe it's page 14. Where we had to do some work to the PA system at the high school football field, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What, I know that system's relatively new. What was, I know we've been having issues with
This
it.
is.
Regardless?
I could tell you kind of what I've been told. they don't hear it inside as good as you can hear it outside, so they keep turning it up inside. So Manny had to fix it and he put a box on it where only Jody and Sergio have control of the volume to keep them from blowing the speakers.
So we can hear it down,
You can hear it good outside, but inside you don't hear so good, so they keep turning it up.
got it.
Is the issue with it cutting out?
Well, it wouldn't be cutting out if they would leave the controls alone. So when they go to make all the knobs, then
Graduation,
That's the Bluetooth on that one.
that's the Bluetooth,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you've got to
but
get that fixed.
we did
Okay,
talk
Yep,
about that.
we bought a new system.
thank you.
Okay,
That's what the check.
yeah, cause for the powder puff game, the great commentator that we had, kept cutting out also, so. But, yeah, that's, if it's a Bluetooth issue, then hopefully we can.
And, but you're right, we have to make sure that's right. It was not good at graduation.
No, sir, and it's happened, yeah, for a little while. Okay, that's the only question I had on the register.
cut it out. No? I'll motion.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the check register for October 2025. All those in favor say aye, those opposed, no.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consideration of superintendent's resignation.
Nope.
Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval. I don't know, but I think that's a conflict, maybe.
Funny how
I'm supposed to say that. Not alone.
I'm have to think.
Yeah. Hey, anybody have any questions concerning what we spoke about the last one?
No.
What?
It's the hardest decision I've ever had.
All right. Of sound mind, then I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the superintendent's resignation. All those in favor say aye, those opposed, no.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
motion carries. All right, consideration of stipends.
Yes, Madam President, well. I'm recommending Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the stipends, and we do have Mr. Breckler, we can bring them up on the board if you have any questions on the stipends.
Bring them up on the board. I just looked at them before.
The one was for middle school cheer coats. And then-
Correct.
We did add a middle.
She was on there twice, that's why.
And then the
Okay.
rest are teachers and EAs in the pre-K program. The grant pays for stipends for them for the extra work and training and everything that they.
Yes, sir. The pre-K comes with a lot of money.
Yes.
Maybe, but they're doing a great job, so.
Yeah, they are doing a great job.
Right. Anything?
I'll make a motion.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the stipends. All those in favor say aye, those opposed, no. Aye.
Aye.
Great. Consideration and discussion of buses.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board. We're still having issues with our two buses we've talked about before with the PAD not paying for the buses. We have a couple suggestions. And one of them is that we pay for the buses and we can actually, I can back up a little further. We've even had congressmen or state senators and representatives write letters to PAD asking for emergency funding. Andy, there's $120 million in emergency.
12.5 million.
12.5 million in emergency funding, so we're trying to tap that fund. I don't know why they're fighting with us on this for any reason. But we're thinking, we could go ahead and pay for the buses and continue our fight, our lawyers on it. I don't know why, and it's not maybe we won't have to do this, but we'd like to have that option if it comes down to it, to have the buses titles in our names. It's only two buses we're talking about. I don't remember the price, but it's about $211,000 somewhere in there, if I recall. Is that correct, Tom?
226.
Yeah, I was gonna say 225.
Somewhere there. And so we don't know if we should do that or not, but I think we need approval we just don't know what to do. We've had several meetings with them. Now it's crickets from them. We've had the Secretary of Education in 2 of the meetings. Numerous letters. It goes to our lawyer. They bring their lawyers in. The last time they recommended that, one of them is that our contractor files a bankruptcy, which we're not gonna let that happen. That's just not fair to somebody who's worked with district since 1964.
Yeah.
Another one was, what was the other? Oh, that we go ahead and, they want us to cheat it even a little bit. One of the suggestions was for us to forgive him the rental deal and us keep the rentals and leases. It's just in his name. They keep telling us we can't use the buses. However, we do have insurance on the buses. Our names are on the buses. We're lien holders on the buses. So we continue to use the buses. We just, we're kind of at a standstill what we can do. We're using everything the state throw at. And, I don't know what the final, I think we just keep fighting with them and maybe even have to take Fed to court and they can pay for the buses. That's their job.
I think that may be our best interest. I don't understand. It was just, the deal was signed, cut and done, everybody was happy, and then they come back after the fact.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we did our due diligence,
We did everything.
right, so,
And one of the issues is the appraisal. In 2022, the guy that appraises Yellow Book, they call it, school buses, died. And so they made us go get appraisals when we bought the 10 buses or 12 buses, whatever there is, so we got appraisals on them. The 2 new buses, they came in different, one was like 94,000, one was like 74,000, like, that don't make any sense, they're brand new buses, right? And so they decided they didn't want to use those appraisals. And they tell us, but they called the 3 people that appraised the buses and said, no, we're gonna write a memo and tell you how to do it. Panda has no business telling you how to appraise the bus. So
right.
we brought that up in the meeting. It's like, no, you don't get to say. Carlos, our attorney at Cuddy, said, no, those letters are perfect. You guys are. He goes, let's give it a couple weeks and we'll finally just have to maybe file a claim on them and say, hey, you're gonna. But in the meantime, I don't think it's fair for Blazer Bus Company to have to continue making payments on these buses when he has no income coming in on these buses and he's having to make a monthly payment on these buses. So that's one of the reasons for the ask to go ahead and pay for them and us continue the fight. We do have some money from carryover previous years. But it's just hard for us to expect Kenny to keep making payments on
Correct.
buses he doesn't.
But then again, how long, if we take them to litigation, that could get drawn out too.
They have more money than we have.
Yes, sir.
In the long run. Sean and Andy are both here. If you guys, I think I pleaded our case. I don't know what else to do or say or.
We even come to the conclusion that when they obligated us to buy those buses, or they obligated Kenny to buy those buses, he couldn't fulfill his contract. He could not fulfill the contract because he still had 6 more months and we knew he was gonna retire.
Right.
Okay, so, but he couldn't fulfill his contract without these buses. So we had to acquire these buses. These buses were already approved by the state. We already got permission, the grants and deals. They're saying that those buses were bought under grants and leases or rentals and leases. They can't transfer because I even asked the people when we had this meeting, I said, well, why can't we do a bar? Move that money from grants and rents and leases, move it into our court. You guys write us a check, we pay the dip, we pay the balance, and we're done. Nobody's making any gazillion dollars, nobody's making any extra money.
Right.
It's money that was already allocated for those buses. Mr. Lindsay did touch on a point, these buses were bought for, we're fixing to purchase a bus. We already got the approval from the state to get our 10th bus online, because we lose another bus in December, it expires. That particular bus that we're gonna order is $144,000 for a route bus, the exact same size these buses are. So Mr. Lindsay is correct. How is a bus that we bought $144,000 in 3 months dropped down to 90?
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not even.
No, it's not even close.
Yeah, that's a tremendous hit. So
they want us to get these buses back and then send us 2 old buses from another district. We'll end up putting 5 or 10,000 in each bus
Right,
and then to run up the mountain.
well, we have buses that are already
Better know that we know.
right,
And these buses are already brand new, they're already outfitted with our cameras, they're already outfitted with our radios. And we're using them, they sit there and say, we'll send you buses, we've been hearing that since July, and all we hear is crickets back. We don't,
They haven't responded back in
no, so,
3 weeks.
I mean, we have to use them because we even, there's a lawsuit that the state of New Mexico lost, and it's called the Martinez-Yazzie lawsuit, and what it is for equitable education for Native American students.
Right.
Okay, so we're transporting one of those buses exclusively for Mescalero, so we're probably transporting about 70 kids out of Mescalero on one of these buses. Okay, so we brought that up into the deal of the Martinez-Yazzie, and the state of New Mexico lost it twice, because they lost the original lawsuit, then they appealed it and they lost again. So we even mentioned that in our letter, so everything that we have is spot on. And what in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think what the PED is doing is criminal, because it's like telling you that you have to buy these buses, but now that you're retired, oh well. But they're still belong to the state, you understand what I'm saying? You pay for them, but we're gonna keep them, which is, to me, is criminal, it's not correct. All we're trying to do, and Mr. Lindsay did make a point, and it's a very valid point, and we're actually kind of nervous about it. Is they could chastise us for using these buses, because they've already told us that we're not able to use these buses, but we don't have an option. I'm not gonna sit there and not transport 130 kids, not be able to transport 130 kids. Can you imagine the lawsuit we would have by not transferring, because we don't have the transportation or the capabilities?
and then the time and the money's on their side.
Yeah, so, but
That's our
I
problem.
mean, so we have to continue to use the buses against their deal, but we have to continue, we don't have another option.
And Carlos is willing, he said, let it wait till after Thanksgiving, then we'll come back and we've sent 3, well, we've had some.
Where's Carlos thing?
Well, we need to talk about that too, but.
Okay.
Our attorneys, Cuddy McCarthy is, everybody's quitting them or whatever, so every time I needed to use an attorney right now, I'll put something in, I'm like, I need you guys this afternoon. 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later, I'm hearing back from them, so we're gonna have to change attorneys. Carlos doing his best, but I think he's overwhelmed with all the work, and, so he said, wait till after Christmas and we'll file something on them, we'll have to put back in.
Is there a chance of us losing the use of the buses? then?
No, I don't see how, because they're insured and we own, our name's on the lien, as a lien holder on the buses, to those schools, the lien holder on the buses.
We're intertwined with it, because
Our ducks are.
Because the way that you buy a bus, when we bought it or Blazer Bus would finance a bus. The state was making it mandated that we were the second lien holder, so our name's already on the bus. We're already a second lien holder, you understand what I'm saying? So they're saying, well, you're not intertwined with them. You made us intertwined when you sat there and told us to put as a second lien holder. We are in that deal.
And to those schools that's always paid the insurance on all those buses. So all the insurance has always been paid by the school, all those buses.
Right.
Well, if the state had. And they know they're not, and I've been on Kenny's side of it, so I know exactly what they're doing. But as a contractor, you don't have the resources to drag it out for years and the middle acuity to do that for years.
Right.
You just can't do it. So nobody does. Contractors just give up and crawl back into the crack and go away. And most of the time, the school district doesn't fight for them, is the bottom line. But my opinion, and it is an opinion, but I just don't see it any other way. If the state had if this was legal in any way, shape or form, they would say, look, it's right here, it's legal, it is what it is, suck it up and do what we're telling you. But they haven't said that because it's not.
There's no statute.
There's no way, they're telling you, oh, it's in statute. So which statute?
But they never quote us.
You know,
Right, okay.
you know, the statute, you know that one, no. There's no way that it's legal. There's no, it'd be like me,
you bought a truck to work for me and then you retire and I take your truck away, but you still gotta pay for
Make
it.
the payments, right?
It's no way it's legal. So I really think if they had anything to stand on, it would be a done deal and over with. But instead, you're not hearing
I
anything.
think it finally comes down to, like, when I get sued the other times,
Yeah,
they turned me into NM. Public schools insurance authority, NMBSI, whatever it is. NMCA, and, so I think it's state money is gonna be fighting state money and they're gonna have to pay us anyway. Because we start with our attorneys, but as soon as it goes in a lawsuit, the MCA always takes over
Right.
and they send me other lawyers and they pay for
I'm actually in favor of that working out.
it. But I still think we're in that dilemma where we need to take care of Kenny, so we can quit making, or. And Tom, I don't even know if this is legal, can we make those payments for Kenny? I think
I don't think.
that's a
that-
donation, anti-donation
negotiation.
clause. So I don't think we can do that, so I think our only option is to, this isn't an anti-donation, because we're literally receiving 2 buses.
Yes, sir.
So we can't make his payments on his buses. If you could do that, I gotta pick up that. So I don't know. And I'm not sure we should do that, but I'd like to have that option or approval to do that if we get down to that point.
I don't go through all the options and
Yeah,
we're just gonna best suit us for.
The other thing that we could possibly do, and this is, I'm just kind of talking out loud, is maybe we can bring Kenny to the table and bring his bookkeeper or accountant to the table, and then we can maybe meet in the, where we don't have to absorb the whole 226. We'll help you out. We want those titles. We need to get those buses back online. Where can you meet us? And we'll meet you. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe he can come up with 30% or 40% or something like that. I'm just talking out loud. I don't know that for a fact.
right.
And then we can come up with the rest where we don't sit there, have to pay the full blunt. You understand what I'm saying?
So.
And maybe it might be where we,
To give us.
where we come to the table and.
Yes, sir.
And
Is
you
that-
could give us a limit of what you would feel comfortable us negotiating. And then we could bring it to Kenny and see if
And
we could,
see if he wants to at that point.
that's a possibility, but I wanna rely on Tom
I
and
was just
Andy
gonna
and
ask
Sean. Before we, even with your approval, I'm sure, and Carlos, I want him in the conversation.
Yes,
If we should do that.
Okay.
But we just need to get those titles, so we can just put this to rest, because. Mr. Lindsay's correct, they could possibly come back and chastise us, or even fine us, or even. You know what I mean, because
But
we're
then
using
we
buses
can
that,
do this to everybody's.
Yeah, they can come back and say, well, we told you to do this, you didn't do
Right.
it, and
That's-
I don't know. It's a dilemma, but.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, we're gonna have to go through our options. We'll start at the bottom, work our way up. It's just kind of the best of it for everybody.
Yeah. Maybe that's gonna be our. That's gonna be the only thing we have really left.
We're literally, I think
We've
we've done
exhausted
everything we
everything else.
could, and it's gotta be legal now, and. But, I just don't know it, but we're gonna have to have something to.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion then. Because we've gotta get started on something.
Yeah. It has to be done.
We have to, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna,
So you wanna put a limit on that?
Yes, sir, I do. But I need to talk to Mr. Bredler about that. I don't know what that would be.
No, okay, well, before you make your motion, you probably ought to figure that out, so that I'll be in one motion.
Well, I did want to also add, we're gonna run into an issue with procurement rules. Cause if we're technically buying the buses, well, now you're gonna be
You have to go
over,
out to bid,
yes.
anything
Now,
over, you're right.
Yeah, now you have to do an RFP or invitation to bid. Can't just say, okay, we'll buy the buses from you and here's the money. So that's another issue.
Well, we don't have to do that when we buy new buses, we just go to our one.
We're CES.
They have a contract.
Alright, I know how to go around that. Distillery needs to buy those buses back, we need to buy them from Distillery as a city, yes, stuff.
That's what I was about to say, that,
Yeah,
is it possible?
I would think it would be possible, we could talk with Hillary, so we could amend this, we could just. Let this die for like a second, and then we can talk with Hillary and see if there's something they could do for us.
I think that's what their best bet. I mean, that way,
Right, then we're not, violating any.
Right.
I didn't even think about that.
I just thought of it today.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
We
get-
just tell the bus companies, please don't bid, we'll call them up, don't bid.
we already have our name on it.
Well, in our bid, you could actually say, we're going out to bid for 2 buses for $112,000 a piece, they can't. Do that,
Yeah.
the new bus, $144,000. I think let it lay this, just.
Let it die.
and
Yeah.
We'll talk to Tillery and see if there's any other, and I will call Carlos back tomorrow and see. He's supposed to call me next week anyway over this, so.
Motion.
Motion, Derek.
On to discussion. So 4.1 bars, board report and cafeteria updates.
We have just a few bars, just some maintenance bars, cleaning up some budget lines. Just submitted our first quarter reports, so we'll wait and see how we did. We should be fine. The budgets are all looking good. All the fund balances were in the positive, so we didn't have, as the fund code section. Also, Arissa, who we mentioned earlier, she's been doing great. She's been a big help. She knows procurement really well. She knows a lot of things, that I'm able to use her for and then train her on some more. So she's a really great addition. Cafeteria, we have Thanksgiving next week. We're doing 3 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tomorrow's the last day to get tickets. So that way Jesse knows how much food to order. I think Jesse and the cafeteria, they've been doing really well with everything. That was really all I had, unless anyone has any particular questions.
I did not.
Discussion of tribal education status report.
Sherry,
I'm sure.
Take off my
Blanket. Hold all the time, good evening. In your packet, you guys received a copy of the tribal education status report for the 24-25 school year. That has since been approved by NMPED and that price is exemplary. But it's all good now and it was a learning lesson and we're good. As you know, the tribal education status is a requirement of the Indian Education Act as well as under New Mexico Administrative Code 6.335.2. And so this is to provide a general overview of the educational services and programs provided to our Native American students. It includes information such as our demographics, which on our 40th day, for 24-25, we had a total of 985 students overall with 264 Caucasian, 305 American Indian, and 393 Hispanic students in our district. So kind of a nice third,
Right.
almost. The second part of the report goes into the student achievement, and I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity to look at any of the information provided. As you can see, our reading scores over the last 3 years, from all of our students and our Native American students has gone up. Over the last 3 years, all students, reading proficiency increased from 28% proficiency to 46% proficiency district-wide. And for our Native American students, those proficiency rates over 3 years increased from 13% to 32%. So that was a lot of the recognition at our elementary school. Enrolling all of that. So credit a lot of that with our embedded tutoring during the day, our after school tutoring that we provide, as well as the summer literacy program that we also participated in this last summer. With that being said, you look at our math and you look at our science and you see that those numbers are pretty flat across the board. In math, for all students, proficiency rates, from over the last 3 years, we went from 17% to 24%, and this last year it absolutely died. We lost our math coach, who was phenomenal, and that was that 24% increase, and then we went 1 whole year with no math intervention, no coach, and we felt it greatly. So we reincorporated a math coach again this year. We are participating in 2 math cohorts. One is focusing on algebra to start gaining that algebra proficiency. You've got to have it as a foundation, especially for all high school math, as well as Numeros, which takes care of the K through 8 portion of the math. So we've got some teachers and stuff participating in that professional learning development provided by the state of New Mexico in conjunction with our math coach. And this year is our math adoption. So we're looking at all of the curriculum and stuff to decide on what we're going to be using in the upcoming math adoption cycle. Science was, of course, I don't even want to say it out loud. All students, science proficiency went from 24% to 11%. And for our Native American students, that went from 12% to 0%. And science and math go pretty much hand in hand. In January of this year, we made a significant investment in our physics in a box. So this is going to be our first real full year of rolling it out, all of our teachers participating. And that it goes hand in hand with math and gaining that math proficiency. This year, Physics in a Box also created a curriculum of algebra in conjunction with Physics in a Box, so that they can be used hand in hand to reinforce those beginning concepts of algebra. So that was information that was provided under student achievement. For our graduation, our four-year cohort, all of our students, I don't have glasses on, sorry. All of our students, our graduation rate went from 78%, all students, to 91.5% this last year. And our Native American graduation rate went from 73.5% to 83%. Both of those, for all students and for our Native American students, was significantly higher. I said it was the previous year. That was our school versus New Mexico's graduation rates. My apologies. So our graduation rate for all students was 91.5%. New Mexico's was 78%. So we outperformed the state in graduation, and for our Native Americans, we had 83% graduation rate as opposed to the state with 73.5%. I do want to mention that our graduation rate for our Native Americans, when we first got here, was in the 30%. And so for our Native American graduation rate to increase from, I believe it was like 36% to 83% over the last 4 years has been remarkable. So kudos to Jody and her team, making sure that once we've got them, we hold on to them and help them cross that finish line. With that being said, our graduation rate, of course, decreased from 68.8% down to 17% for Native American students. So that is very significant. Part of the report also talks about attendance, our calendar. This year, our calendar committee looked at the transitioning to a 4-day calendar, and part of that is to try to match what is done with the 4-day calendar in Mescalero, to see if that had impact on our truancy rates, or absentee rates. We just got our first numbers in, comparing the first 40 days. Some schools, the chronic absentee rate has, decreased significantly at the high school. Like almost in half the absentee rate. The other schools, they've increased, but not too bad, but something we're gonna continue watching every reporting period. And continue to monitor and implement our attendance improvement plans that we have in place. Another big area that, the report, speaks to is school safety and student wellness. Talks about the various programs that we have, in place for that. One of them being our discipline data, so I don't know if you guys were able to look at that. We had a total of 137 total incidents last year. Our Native American students, less than 45% were involved in those infractions. However, we have, of our major infractions, our Native American students make up 57% of those offenders in the major incidents. So that is something else we're going to be working on as part of our plan. It talks about family and community engagement, and you've heard some of what's happened over at TIS, the preschool, our Native American Club hosting these pageants. We have lots more coming with like Wonderland and a lot more career fairs coming. So, and it also speaks to our Apache language and culture classes that are taught at high school and the impact of our Native American liaisons. It also reports on our financials. Last year, it talks about how much money we received in revenue, 466,000, as opposed to our expenses going out 689. But that talks to how strongly we believe in those programs and the kind of money that we're investing in increasing our proficiencies, not just for all students, but especially our Native American students. And it also ends with our Indian policies and procedures, which with that season again, we're going to be rolling all of the stressful part of the year out. So we will be reviewing our Indian policies and procedures now in November and December, as well as our impact aid and completing those applications. And reviewing this tribal education status report with tribal council as well as with their education committee. Any questions for me? This will also be posted on our website, and like I said, it's been sent up to the state and to the tribe.
Thank you.
No questions.
All right. Don't need to roll right into Zoom meetings. All right. Every 3 years, the school district is required to conduct a educational needs survey for our federal programs, titles 1, 3, 4, 10, all of them, all the federal programs. You received in your packet a summary of those results. And again, this will all be posted on our website to share out. We were really fortunate. We were able to have get 500 responses to our educational survey. Of those, nearly 68% of the respondents were parents and guardians, so that shows a strong participation from our families. Followed by students and staff. We did allow grades 6 through 12 to respond to the survey as well. So all of our 6th through 12th graders during their advisory courses were able to respond to the survey as well. The slides, survey spoke to questions about school connections, quality of instruction, and academic areas needing improvement. With regards to our school connections, well, it says here that most of the respondents came from the middle and the high school, but that's because of all of the students. But we did have a high participation rate from the parents at the primary grades, the elementary grades. Quality of instructions, most respondents rated instruction as effective or very effective across subjects. Reading and social studies stood out as strengths. However, improvements in math and science, especially around concepts, understanding higher level course offerings. College career readiness was also surfaced as an area needing more focus. So not anything we didn't know from looking at our data. So that this just supports the programs that we're investing in and the direction that we are going with that programming. Academic areas needing improvement. Math was most frequently cited as an area for improvement, noting challenges in algebra and advanced options, advanced math options. Families wanted to see more emphasis on career readiness and life skills. In the area of academic support, just under 40% of our respondents feel students consistently receive the academic support they need, while over half said support is only provided sometimes. So this tells us our interventions and tutoring services are helping, but we need to be more consistent and accessible, especially for our students with IEPs and those struggling in math and reading. With regards to our school environment, half of the respondents described our schools as very welcoming, which speaks to our caring staff and community. However, nearly as many said the environment is only somewhat welcoming. And so that's an area that will continue building inclusive spaces where every student and family feels that they belong. We also had questions regarding equity and support, and about 60% of our respondents agreed or strongly agreed that the district promotes equity and supports all students, including English learners and students with disabilities. We recognize the need to strengthen inclusion and ensure all students feel supported. School safety, 40% of our respondents said schools are very safe, while nearly half of them rated it somewhat safe. Comments emphasize the need for more visible safety measures, such as an SRO, school safety resource officer, secure entry points, and stronger behavioral supports. Communication effectiveness, over 40% said we communicate very often in clear, useful ways. Text messaging and emails are the preferred communication methods. We'll continue to prioritize these tools. 70% of our respondents stated that they were aware of decision-making opportunities like Title I and advisory communities or family involvement programs. But they're also asking for better communication about these events and more convenient meeting times with more engaging student-led activities. So we're listening. Support services like tutoring, counseling, and college guidance were generally rated positive, though many said they need improvement. Health and wellness resources showed the biggest gaps, indicating a need to expand school-based counseling and mental health supports. Again, something we have been working on for the last couple of years. And we will continue to try to make as much headway into that because it is a very big need. So additional services, families requested more tutoring opportunities, mental health supports, and life skills programs. They mentioned basic needs like food pantries, clothing, and nutrition programs. So this reminds us to adjust the whole child. Ms. Laylock just recently attended a conference in Dallas, Texas, and she's very excited to start planning and implementing some of these resources that are greatly needed within our school community. With regards to our strengths as a district, our greatest strength, of course, we already knew this, is our people. Our teachers, our EAs, and our office staff were praised for dedication and care. Respondents also highlighted school spirit, community unity, and strong athletics as defining features of Tularosa Municipal Schools. Our greatest areas of need were staffing, support, improved communication, stronger academics, enhanced safety, and facility upgrades. All the things that make school. but we're on it. So our next step is to come back with, our educational community and our families and communities at large to start making our frameworks for the next, 3 to 5 years of how do we get aligned and improve all of them, for sure. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate your attention.
Okay, so discussion of food service companies for next year.
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board, you guys went to the national school board of appeal last year, you're talking about with the thing and found. Once that time of year, if you guys are interested in us going out and bid again. I think it's a good idea, we have to do it now, next board meeting, we'll have to plug in, and we have to go out for RFP. Thank goodness we have Arissa working for us now, she understands that process better. Last year, me and Amanda, or last 3 years ago, whenever it was, we suffered through that process. But we do have an expert now, and so we'll go see what's out there and see if there's another company. Like, okay. Done.
No, I didn't. I had to work.
Just a good run in that. And I already talked about 4.6, to work on field notes.
So setting the next regular session, setting the special board meeting November 19th, 2025 at 5. 5 p.m. and then, December 10th at 6 p.m. for
Regular.
the regular.
Session.
So this is just before.
No, we're checking for basketball games.
Yeah,
And then the special board meeting can also just be a Zoom meeting if you want, because it's just voting on the
Well, we
contract.
have one thing I gotta put on there, I gotta talk about later. One item.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have the 11th, I believe, is the volleyball banquet.
No,
The 9th.
It's the 19th.
it's the 19th. but-
Oh, it's the
That's why
9th.
we moved
Okay,
it to
that's
5
gonna
o'clock.
be moved to 5,
Uh-huh.
okay. I haven't had a word on the football banquet yet, so.
okay.
Are you good with that?
I'm good. I'm good. So we're good. Pretty good. Thank you.
So good.
And
Oh, it's all for the regular.
the 19th is the special board meeting, 10th is the regular.
It's gonna be voted on the general contract or on the.
That we, Zoom will work from.
We'll be there.
Conference meeting, research stuff. Right.
What?
You're-
You guys like to move it to a different school or anything, or you wanna stay here? Yeah.
We just redid this room, so.
Yeah.
Unless there's no start that.
It should be done by there.
The only other thing that I didn't put on there is, in December, we typically get up and get some.
Yeah.
So
We have to make our day.
I don't know if you
go walk
want to
around.
just start thinking about that day,
Yeah,
whatever day you guys.
Is it,
I'm available.
you taking a whole day off for that?
And every other Thursday.
It's a fun day.
Yeah,
It'll be in December, but
Let's try to do it on
Something to
a
think about.
Thursday, so
okay.
you're out Thursday, that's what you say.
So I'm off Thursdays on the first week and third week of every month.
There's 16, we have to do one with our Christmas break.
What's
So
that?
that would-
So there's 16 school days left if you're,
Because there's sports basketball tournaments, so I like to do the team.
no pressure.
What's
I'm
one?
busy about there.
Yeah, you said,
So our meeting has to be.
okay. All right, then.
Yeah.
Principals, we're gonna go into executive session in a second, if you guys wanna Get out of here, now's your chance to sort it out before. And you're welcome to stay and join the bet on how long it takes. Yes, Amanda's taking bets up there.
The board's gone and that's what they usually put it on. Start the clock.
Consideration of the meeting in an executive session pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 10-15-9, discussion of limited personnel.
I would,
motion.
I'll second.
Bailey, your turn.
So I thought.
A roll call vote has been called for the purpose of convening into an executive session to discuss limited personnel matters. When I call your name, please answer I meaning yes, nay meaning no. Megan Clark. Aye. Cisco Gomez.
Aye.
Bill Gaston.
And I.
Motion passes.
Matt, do you have that paper for, I do the sign afterwards?
Okay. Work.
Consideration of reconvening into open session.
Make a motion.
Second.
A roll call vote has been called for the purpose of verifying that only the discussion of limited personnel matters. When I call your name, please answer aye meaning yes, nay meaning no to this motion. Megan Carnes. Aye. Cisco Gomez.
Aye.
Gilbert Gaston.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Maybe it's still for start to adjourn.
It's my turn to adjourn. All right. Then I'll make a motion. Adjourn the meeting.
There's been a motion and a second during the meeting. All those in favor say aye, those opposed, no.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
I thought we were gonna have to, so we don't have to do that.
Coming out, it's like, we gonna have, no, we did.
No, man, won't go anywhere.
Funny, they go,
This is like board approval. What this time meeting? Still what it says. They do fire me.
Okay, cool.
This is for last.
That is regular session.
Yes.
ready? Yes, it's on the computer
And then I just had.
I got it. I'm excited with that one. You slow right up.
I did the same thing. I was like, so.
Good, good. You talked about the thing. That's one. Good.
That's everything.
Very good.
Okay.
Go home and get ready for another.
Vince, you ready for Albuquerque to come aboard?
It's
a fun meeting that day.
Oh, yeah.
That one may go worse than.
They are.
Also. Boundaries.
Friday and then.
I thought swimming is in that.
I usually do the same.
I think we all have.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
You're good anyway, cause you're going to start.
I gotta make the money.
Do some training, do board trucker training. January, I can't get her.
I think we're supposed to be sworn in. You might be able to get ones actually.
Let's try if you can.
And, but no, now it's like, but you are, oh, you went there. They need to know how our words now. If you are.
No more.
You better.
Sign the banner.
So, in other words, Todd can't sign all you guys in.
It's a different.
So you're responsible. You have the QR code.
Okay, got it, go ahead.
They don't give a shit. Already taken. Okay, we have to go to it again.
You're gonna go into these meetings that you see. City, but.
Yeah.
Would you for the two that I got here?
Okay, you can have them.
And
Not more.
Some of our.
as a new board member, it's 10 hours.
Like webinars for any,
Yeah.
there's, I was already kind of coming through and there's a link, for something that's online, but it's like a tablet, yeah.
We ordered the book, or we'll try to get you a book, or it's the new, the manual for new board members, or whatever it's called. They had them out at the. Did they get them out? Yeah, you'll be all right. That's where I got mine. It's year 2023. I know.
I went through, I read, yes.
What do you need? What do we do? Like, we do all that.
Long on it, and now.
It's a lot of saving.
Like, lots
A lot. Yeah, but I think about this, is
Like,
you have a good board member. There's a, make you laugh, but makes it fun.
Because we've been at it.
Yeah, had a lot of fun.
Just
There's a lot of the figures are in the English, right? Maybe when you know, yeah, that's it, that's actually, yeah.
If you can't even learn.
Learn it out.
The DOT stuff, that was like pretty terrible.
Thank you.
Alright, sounds good, huh? See you guys later.
Everybody, if you have any questions or anything, just come see us and
Okay.
we're always around.
You want to know what you need from me?
TGIF now, huh?
Everybody goes.